So this is my Bubble and Squeak. I've put a runny egg on top because I do like the runny egg. I can see why it's comfort food, and I can see why so many people made it. Hello and welcome to Eat These Words. Today I am going to be doing a recipe that uses up leftovers. I've got a load of mashed potato and a few vegetables, and I'm going to show you what people used to do with vegetables and mashed potatoes years ago. So stick with me while I show you Bubble and Squeak. I don't know about anybody else's household, but we habitually have leftovers from our Sunday lunch, mashed potatoes generally, and the odd bit of vegetable. And this is a great way of using up those items. It can be adapted however you want, and well, it's quick. You need to add whatever vegetables you've got left over to whatever mashed potato you've got left over. Ideally, the proportions are 1-to-1. But if you don't have that, don't worry about it, just fling in whatever you've got. Traditionally, Bubble and Squeak is made with cabbage and potatoes, since World War II anyway. I'll come into that in a moment. So I've got cabbage in here and some mashed potatoes. Now the mashed potatoes are just your average potatoes, boiled with a bit of salt water, seasoned, butter added, maybe a little bit of milk, and then just the cabbage thrown in when it's dried out the next day. So what I'm going to do now is do what Mrs. Beaton suggested and add a fried onion. So I've added a bit of lard to my pan, as traditionally Bubble and Squeak was actually made with lard because it gives a different flavour. It could also have been made with dripping as well. So my lard is now melted, so I'm going to add 1 whole onion to my pan, and I'm not going to let it brown, I'm just going to let it soften. I want it nice and sweet, so we're going to give it a little bit of time, and I don't want the heat too high for this. This is an addition that Mrs. Beaton made in the 1800s. Previous to that, it was just fried up leftover beef and cabbage, and the cabbage would be on the bottom, reheated on the bottom, and the beef would be laid over the top in a little mound. But we're not doing it that way. We're doing it the way I was taught, really, which is a recipe from my youth, really. My father used to make it for supper on a night, because this can be eaten at any time of day or night. So once you've fried your onions and they're nice and soft as so, pop them into your mashed potato and your cabbage mixture. Doesn't matter if they're hot, it'll be fine, because the ingredients in there already will cool it down. Taking a fork, just mix it in. Now if you don't have any normal onion, or you can't be bothered to fry an onion, then you could use onion powder if you wish. It's not traditional, but it's a lifesaver if you want that flavour in there. You could use spring onions, but then it's not really Bubble and Squeak if you use spring onions. It's up to you though. You could add garlic if you wanted, parsley, or any other herbage that you're interested in. This is purely a recipe that you can adjust according to what you've got. But this is the semi-traditional recipe, in that it's from probably the 1960s upwards, but based on the World War II recipe, which introduced potatoes in a greater amount because of the limitations of the rationing and so forth, and beef and what have you not been around. So that's what we're working with. Now then, the next thing to do is grab yourself a board and a bit of cling film. So grab yourself a tray such as this one, and I find an ice cream scoop is great. We're going to put a little tiny bit of, that's avocado oil by the way, into the bottom and rub it around, just so it will stop the potatoes from sticking to our scoop. Fingers crossed. And then we're going to make little patties. My hands are clean though, by the way. Going to make little patties out of these. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil on my glove, rub it around a bit. It's going to be all oiled up here. And press down gently. Okay, and then pop it into your tray. Now you can add bacon to this if you want. I've seen that as an alternative. I think in a World War II recipe book that was. A little bit of bacon added is always nice. Gives you a bit of salt and a bit of protein and everything. That's lovely. These can be frozen and used a separate time if you so wish. Or you can keep them in the fridge for a couple of days, not long. Because don't forget, this has been sitting around since the day before anyway, because these are ideally made the day after you have your roast dinner as a use up item. Now then, when you've got your mixture finished, you need to pop them into the fridge for about half an hour to an hour, longer if you can. You want them to set up, okay? So I'll be back with you when that's the case. My Bubble and Squeak have been in the fridge now for about 3/4 of an hour, and I'm going to cook them in my savory air fryer, my turbo blaze. I've already heated it up just on the preheat setting up to 205 degrees, and I'm going to pop these little patties in onto my silicone innard. I'm going to shut the drawer. Then I'm going to set it to 195 for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'm going to turn them over. I'll be back with you when that's done. So it's just gone off, it's done 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna have a quick look. Oh, they're doing well, woohoo! And that's what they look like. So I'm going to turn them over. They will be soft, so you've got to be careful. You may need to turn these a couple of times for them to actually stay formed. Because what generally happens, they're generally cooked in a frying pan and turned continuously, so that they, number one, they dry out, and number two, they get a nice big crust on them. I'm going to put them in again for another 10 minutes, and then we'll see what they look like. This is where I house my savory. It's exactly where my other one went. I don't know if you can see, but sorry, it's a bit dark in there. There you go, it fits in with plenty of room because it's so compact. At the moment, Kasari are offering 38% off their Turbo Glaze air fryer. If you want to bag yourself one, hit the link below, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So 38% off now until the end of February in the link below. So there's 3 minutes left. I'm just going to check them just to make sure they're not burning or anything. Oh, they're ready. Ooh. And this is what they look like when they're done. Can you see that? Really lovely. So I'm going to switch that off and I'm going to plate up. So this is my Bubble and Squeak. I've put a runny egg on top because I do like a runny egg. And I'm going to give it a taste now just to see how it is. So a bit of everything in there. It's hot. I can see why it's comfort food, and I can see why so many people made it. At the moment, Kasari are offering 38% off their Turbo Glaze air fryer. If you want to bag yourself one, hit the link below and follow it to Amazon. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So 38% off now until the end of February in the link below. If you like what I'm doing, hit me up with a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment below if you want to, and let me know how you make Bubble and Squeak, or if you ever have made Bubble and Squeak. Anyway, thanks for watching. For now, Liz out.